Good morning. So again, this is your instructor Elaine, and I would like to welcome you in our Maritime English course. So we are now on our week 30, day 2, and it's all about reading and understanding a simple safety bulletins in maritime industry. So basically, this is still a continuation of what of our topic last time. So we're just going to discuss some of the safety bulletins. So I have here some key areas to focus when reading maritime safety bulletins. So first is the purpose and scope. So it's very important to understand the bulletin's main object and what specific areas it covers. So, is it addressing some specific type of incident, or is it tackling about the equipments or some procedures? We also need to understand the key safety message of what's in the safety bulletins, because identifying the critical information, the bulletin is trying to convey what are the most important things to remember and act upon. There's also some specific instructions, like you need to pay close attention to any instructions or procedures that are outlined in the bulletin, and there's a specific action that you need to take or equipment that you need to use. So you can find it in the safety bulletins. For some cases, for example, that there will be an equipment needed to be used, so you need to be carefully read the instructions on how to operate and maintain some various safety equipments, so like the life rafts, the life jackets, the fire extinguishers, and distress signals. You can also see some visual aids, like for any diagram or illustrations or checklists that are included in the bulletin. So this can often help you to clarify the information that make it easier to understand. Like, understand the specific context of the bulletin, such as the type of the vessels or the work being performed, and any specific terminology that they're going to be used. So there are some responsibilities. So determine who is the person or the right person uh, responsible for implementing the recommendations or taking the specific action mentioned in the bulletin. Reporting procedures. So meaning that understanding the how to report any hazards or deviations from the bulletin's instructions. So you need to look for a clear, concise instructions and diagram that explain the procedures or equipment usage. So you need to ensure that you understand these steps evolve in the pretend or in the intended outcome. There's also some emergency procedures. So if the bulletin addresses some emergency situations, you need to be familiarize yourself with the procedures outlined for those scenarios. So we have different types of, or you can encounter different kinds of incidents or accidents. So you need to be familiarized and have a knowledge on how you're going to act on that situations. Personal protective equipment. So this one, the PPE, you need to note that if any specific PPE is required or recommended for the situations described in the bulletin. So especially if it tackles about something regarding the toxics or the chemical. So you have to know if you're going, or it will be required for you to have some PP or anything protective equipment before you act or you go on what does it says in the bulletin. So a safety bulletins about handling hazardous materials. So this might be an example of a bulletin. Like you will see the purpose of this. So what is the purpose of this bulletin? So to prevent an accident and injuries when handling the hazardous materials. So you can also see, or going to be understand, they will tell you that the message or the key message there is the proper handling procedures, use of PPE, and emergency response. And as a part of this bulletin, you will also know that there's a specific instructions to be done. Like for example, is use a designated route for transport, wear appropriate gloves and masks, follow spill containment procedures. So it's very important to see this and understand this specific instruction. You might also see some visual aids, meaning there will be a diagram of proper lifting techniques, spill containment layout. So you can find it also in a bulletin, as well as the responsibilities, meaning there will be a designated personnel for handling the materials. All crew to report spill. So there will be assigned person or assigned the proper person to be assigned in this kind of situations. There will be also, we can find some emergency procedures. So there will be the steps to take in case of a spill or exposure. And as well is the PPE. So you can see this, there will be glove, mask, and eye protection. So this one, this it's only an example of a safety bulletin about handling the hazardous materials. So there will be subject, the body, the message of the bulletin, the specific instructions, and also the person will be assigned or the person have more knowledge and skills on handling these kinds of scenarios. So again, so what are these safety bulletins that we keep discussing all about? So in marine industry, safety bulletins are very important documents that alert the personnel to specific safety concerns. So they are often arising from the accident, some misses, or new hazards. So these bulletins can be time sensitive and may require an immediate reactions or changes in the procedures. So I have here some kinds of the safety bulletins. Like for this one, we have here the incident report. So this is the detailed of accidents or near misses, including the cause and lessons learned. There are also some hazard identification. So this is about the information specifically about the hazards found in the ships, such as the chemical spills, electrical faults, or machinery malfunctions. There will be also some safety procedures. So these are the guidance on how to perform tasks safely. So it will be include the use of personal protective equipment or what we call the PPE and following established protocols. There are also some regulatory updates. So if there are changes to the international or national maritime regulations that impact the safety. So they may prefer to the established regulations or offer specific instructions for addressing the issues. So why are the safety bulletins are important? So we have here, of course, regarding the accident prevention. So by providing the timely information about the potential hazards or prevented or any preventive measures, safety bulletins help reduce the likelihood of accidents and injury. So the safety bulletins act as a rapid communication channel, alerting the maritime professionals to specific incidents, emerging the hazards or changes in safety protocols. There's also what we call the improved safety culture. So these are the regular dissemination of the safety information, foster a culture of safety awareness and responsibility among seafarers. There's also some regulatory compliance because the safety bulletins they ensure that the crew members are aware and complain compliant with the relevant safety regulations. So if there's a for us to, or for them to prevent some recurrence, so by sharing the details of accidents and near misses, the bulletins it help prevent similar incidents from happening again by providing the practical recommendations and guidance. There's also about the environmental protections. So, by promoting the safe practices, safety bulletins help prevent the pollutions incident and protect the marine environment. There's also important for the operational efficiency. The safer working environment, it will leads to a fewer disruptions and delays contributing to the more efficient operations. It is also important for the crew welfare. So the safety bulletin can also address issues related to crew well-being such as the fatigue management and mental health, promoting a healthier and more productive workforce. I have here now some key components of a safety bulletin. There is a hazard identification, meaning the clearly state of the specific hazard, the bulletin addresses such as the fire, flooding, or the equipment malfunctions. There's also description of the hazard. So providing the details about the nature of the hazard, how it can occur, and potential consequences. There should be also some recommended actions. So they need to outline the specific steps to be taken to prevent or mitigate the hazard. So this may include using the personal protective equipment or what we called or what we known as a PPE, following the specific procedures of reporting incidents. So for emergency procedures, so this one is only if applicable. So the bulletin will detail the steps to be taken in the event of an emergency. So for example, there's a fire, flooding, or man overboard situations. So these are they need an immediate response. There are also some contextual information. So this one, it includes some relevant details about the ship. So the specific variety location on the ships and any specific conditions that may affect of the hazard or responses. There should be date and revisions. It is important to note the date the bulletin was issued and any revision dates. So this one, it ensuring you're following the most up-to-date information. There's also some distributions and responsibility, meaning that identify who is responsible for disseminating the bulletin and who is responsible for implementing the recommended actions. So it's very important to know who is the specific person to be act or to be done the specific situations. So how to interpret a safety bulletin? So first, you need to read carefully. So thoroughly read the entire bulletin. You need to pay close attention to the hazard descriptions and recommended actions. So this time there will be no excuses for false information. So you need to read it carefully. Second is to understand the context. Relate the bulletin to your specific work environment and duties. So you need to consider how the hazard might affect your task and what action you need to take. So third is you need to ask questions. So if there's anything is unclear, do not hesitate to ask your supervisors or more experienced crew members for some clarifications. Another one is practice the procedures. So if the bulletin outlines some emergency procedures, you need to practice them regularly just to ensure you are prepared in real life situations. So lastly is to stay updated. So regularly review the safety bulletins and any updates or revision to stay informed about the potential hazards and changes in the procedures. So for example, a safety bulletin might focus on the risk of slips and falls on deck due to wet conditions. So I have here, first is to identify. So it's likely the topic of the bulletin. So slips and falls on deck. So how they describe it? So wet surface from rain or wash down, leading to loss of footing. So how did they recommend or what I need to do, instructions that need to be done? Wear appropriate footwear with good tractions. Use handrails when available and be extra cautious when walking in wet areas. So the context of this bulletin is wet deck conditions due to weather or cleaning procedures. So who is the responsible for this situations? So deck crew should be aware of wet areas and take the necessary precautions. So now I have here some common symbols that you can also found in your safety bulletin. So first is the hazard pictographs. So these are the symbols that you often found in the chemical containers and within the ship's compartments. So visually represent the potential dangers. So I have here first like the first example is the explosive. So this one, it's symbolized by an exploding bomb, including the presence of explosive materials. So what does it signify? So mass explosion hazard. So materials with these symbols can explode within with a large amount of energy, potentially causing the widespread damage. So there's also potential for detonations. So they can transition from burning to detonations. So, or meaning the very rapid explosions. It should be under the certain conditions. Risk of fire and explosions. So meaning that these materials are highly flammable or can ignite or explode due to various factors like the heat, frictions, impact, or electrostatic discharge. So where is the proper use of this? So DOT hazard class label. So the U.S. Department of Transportation, or the DOT, used the explosive symbol for materials classified as Class 1 explosive, which includes a wide range of substances and devices designed to explode or detonate. There's also what we call the GHS pictographs, or the globally harmonized system. It uses the exploding bomb pictograph for explosive or self-reactive and organic peroxides that indicating the risk of explosions of fire. There's also the IMDG code. So this is the International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code. So this means which governs to transport of a dangerous goods by the sea, uses a specific labels and placards incorporating the explosive symbols for identifying and classifying the explosives. They're also called the cargo handling. So the symbol is used on containers, packages, and storage areas to warn the personnel about the presence of the explosive materials. So you can see this in the packaging of the cargoes. So another common symbols is the flammable. So this is depicted by a flame warming of flammable substances. So the flame symbols. So this is the most common symbol, a flame that indicates that a substance or material is flammable and may be ignite easily if exposed to heat, sparks, or flames. There's also some GHSO2, or the flammable symbols. This is also part of the globally harmonized system symbol. Also uses a flame to indicate a flammable materials and can be found on a various hazard signs. So we have here some specific flammability hazards or the class of flammable gas. So First is the class 2. So this is the diamond-shaped sign with the flame symbol above the words flammable gas. So, and the number is 2. So, indicating the flammable gases. So, common example include the LPG, the propane, butane, and acetylene. Another class is what we have is the class 3. So, this is the flammable liquid. So, the red diamond with the flame and the words flammable liquid signifies a flammable liquids such as the gasoline, which can ignite easily. Common example includes the gasoline, ethanol, acetone, benzene, kerosene, and some paints and thinners. So flammable solids. There's also a red and white stripe diamond-shaped sign. So these are often with the flame indicates a flammable solid. There's also dangerous when wet. So this is a blue sign also with the flammable symbol. So it just indicates that a material may become flammable or emit toxic gases when exposed to water. Oxidizing some substances. A yellow diamond with a flame over the circle indicates an oxidizing substances which can accelerate and combustions. So there are also what we call some organic peroxide. So this is the half red, half yellow diamond with a flame at the top indicates an organic peroxide which is flammable and can be unstable. So this is the explosive. Oh, the explosive also the class 1. So while not strictly a flammable symbol, the exploding bomb symbol is crucial in maritime transport. So it indicates some substances with severe fire and explosions hazard. So another common symbols that we can see is what we call the corrosive. So this time it illustrated by a corrosion symbol indicating a corrosive materials. Like for example, the common corrosive substances indicates acids like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, alkalis like sodium hydroxide, and certain types of bleach. There will be also a chemical damage. So the corrosive substances react chemically with materials including skin and metal, causing the visible destructions or irreversible alterations. We need to be consider also the handling precautions. So the corrosive symbols serve as a warning for proper handling procedures, such as using the personal protective equipment like the gloves, eyes protection, and so much more, and ensuring the adequate ventilations. Another common symbols that we can see is the toxic. So this time it represents by a skull or crossbone that signifies a poisonous substance. So what is this about? So this is the hazard communication, meaning that the toxic safety bulletins are a part of a chemical hazard communication, which is the process of informing employees and others about the risk associated with the hazardous chemicals. There will be also some specific information that these bulletins focus on the substances deemed toxic, meaning that they can cause a harm to a living organism, including humans. we also have some safety procedures. So they outline the specific precautions needed to minimize the risk of exposures, such as the proper handling techniques, personal protective equipment, and emergency response procedures. So why is this important? So first, of course, to preventing some harm. So the primary purpose of the prevent is to prevent some injuries, illnesses, and fatalities caused by the exposure to toxic substances. Another reason is for meeting the regulatory requirements. So many industries are legally obligated to provide employees with information about the hazards of chemicals they work with, and the toxic safety bulletins are the common way to fulfill these requirements. Another reason also is promoting the safety practices. So, they encourage a culture of safety by informing individuals about the potential dangers and the appropriate actions to take. So, I have here some content of of a toxic safety bulletin. So, typically, this includes identifications of the toxic substance. So, meaning it should be included the name, the chemical formula or the synonym. So for you as to able to identify properly the toxic substance. Another one is the hazard associated with the substance. So the specific health effect. Like for example, there will be skin irritations, respiratory problems, or it can cause cancer. Like for another one is for the physical hazards, or if it's flammability, reactivity, and as well the environmental hazards. So the PPE. So what kind of gloves or respiratory, eye protection. So what equipment do you need? Safe handling procedures. So how to store this kind of toxic substance, how to transport and use the substance safely. So for emergency procedures, what to do in case of spills, leaks, or exposures. There also should be a first aid measures. How to treat someone who has been exposed to the substance. So I have here now some examples of the toxic substances that often covered in a safety bulletins. So first, I have here what we call the asbestos. So this is known for causing a lung cancer and other respiratory disease. Another substance is usually is the lead. So this one, it can cause neurological damage, especially in children. We also another one is the mercury. So toxic to the nervous system and other organs. We also have what we call the formaldehyde or unknown as carcinogen. Can cause a respiratory irritation. And lastly, the pesticides. So this one, it can be acutely or chronically toxic depending on the specific of a chemical. So we have here what we call the color-coded safety signs. So these signs categorized by color. So they convey instructions or warnings. So first is the prohibition signs. So this usually the red. So used to indicate an actions that are allowed or and that are not allowed. So like no smoking or another red warning. Another one is what we call the mandatory signs. So these is are the blue signs. So it indicates required actions or behavior, such as wear safety goggles. Another one is what we call the warning signs or the yellow signs. So this one is just to alert to potential hazards like slippery when wet. So these are the example. And lastly is the emergency signs or the green signs that we can usually see or found in guide to emergency exits or first aid stations and safety equipments. So now is I have here some common terms found in maritime safety bulletins. So first, it includes some what we call the SOLAS. So I know every one of you knows very well about the SOLAS. So again, this is the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. So this is the primary international treaty governing the safety standards for the merchant ships. Another one is the life-saving appliances. This one, it refers to the equipment like life rafts, life jackets, and emergency position indicating the radio beacons or the EPIRBs. We also have some emergency drills. This is to regular the training exercises and to prepare the crew for various emergency situations. We also have here the PPE, the personal protective equipment. So this is includes item like helmets, gloves, and safety shoes designed to protect individuals from the hazards. Another one is the first aid. So this is refers to the medical care provided in the event of any injury or illnesses. Another one is the what we call the assembly point. So this is designated location where the crew members should gather in case of an emergency evacuations. I have here some examples of the bulletin and the safety bulletins. Like for this, in the engine room, there should be a fire prevention. So, engine room fire safety. So, that will be the topic of the bulletin. So, regular checks for the fuel and oil leaks, proper disposal of oily rags, and maintain a fire suppression system. So, all personnel must be familiar with the locations and operations of the fire extinguishers and emergency equipment. So, as part of the bulletin, they also some PPE use. So, meaning there will be equipment needed. So, mandatory engine room PPE. So, helmets, safety shoes, gloves, and eye protection must be worn at all times in the engine room. So, coveralls are recommended to protect clothing from oil and grease. So, and as a part also of the bulletin, hazard substances. So there's our proper handling of engine room chemicals. So they also indicate here in their bulletins. Ensure the proper ventilation when working with the chemicals. So always use gloves and eye protection when handling the acids or other corrosive substances. So this is the example of a safety bulletins inside the engine room. So this one is in the galley. So food safety. So galley hygiene. So these are the bulletin example. So wash hands frequently, especially after using the restrooms or handling raw food. Proper store and label food items to prevent the spoilage. Clean and sanitize work surfaces regularly. Burn prevention. So cooking safety. Be aware of the hot surfaces, steam, and hot oils. Use even mitts and pot holders when handling hot items. Never leave cooking unattended. And also part of the bulletin or the memo is the PPE use. So it's even in the galley, they required a PPE, like wear gloves when handling food, especially raw meat or poultry. Aprons and proper footwear are recommended to protect against spills and slips. So these are the example of the safety bulletin inside the galley. So there's a topic, preventions, and the PPE that they need to use. And this one is for the deck. So the deck department. So the topic is regarding the fall prevention. So this is the deck safety. Secure all the loose items, keep the deck clear of obstructions, and use the safety harnesses when working at heights. So lifelines must be properly attached and readily accessible. Cargo handling. So the safe cargo operations follow proper lifting techniques and use the appropriate equipment for moving heavy items, And always wear gloves for sturdy footwear. Report any damage or cargo immediately. There's also some weather hazards. So the deck safety in adverse to the weather. Be aware of a slippery surfaces due to the rain or ice. Wear appropriate footwear and exercise caution when moving around the deck in high wind or heavy seas. So this one is a example of the safety bulletin in the deck department. Okay, so that will be all for today. And thank you for listening. This is just a part of our discussion regarding the reading and understanding the safety bulletins in the maritime industry. So, again, this is your instructor Elaine for your English Maritime course.